Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mindspun, your channel for your music fix. And today, we wanted to do a special episode dedicated to a piece of clothing that has always been a part of rock and metal. We are talking about jeans, but we will talk about pants in general as well. Because metal and rock has gone through bootcut jeans to wide flare jeans, skinny jeans, baggy jeans, spandex, you name it. We're gonna start out with jeans since they became popular in 1950s films as casual wear by Marlon Brando and James Dean, particularly The Wild One and Rebel Without a Cause, which led to the fabric becoming a symbol of rebellion among teenagers and in rock. Since the genre has always been an outlet for expressing rebellion or inconformity, which also caused jeans to be banned in schools, theaters, and restaurants. From this era, we have Elvis Presley that used jeans and popularized them as well. When Elvis broke onto the scene in the mid-50s, he made it cool to be an outsider. And before the boy from Memphis first made his way on stage, fashion and music were only connected as much as artists had to wear something when they performed. After him, rock stars would be the biggest influence on what young people wore for the next half a century. So, Elvis obviously had more extravagant outfits, but we will leave the suits and jumpsuits for another occasion and stick to his jeans, which in the early 1950s they were called overalls, until the late 1950s. This is kind of confusing since today overalls refers to another type of clothing. But anyways, in that time, bootcut jeans were the fashion. A little bit shorter, and they were worn all the way to the waist, making your butt look longer than it should, and it made your waist look smaller, but that's a good thing. Now, from Elvis, we want to jump to the rock stars of the early 1960s, which include the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Who, and the Kinks. The Beatles at that time didn't really use jeans much and stuck more to suits and bold top haircuts, but drainpipe jeans were an image of rock and roll and were used by rock stars of that time, like the Rolling Stones and the Who. But by the late 1960s, under the influence of flower children, or hippies you could call them, the sign changes and legs became widely flared. Then, Led Zeppelin, Cream, and Hendrix can be using these types of jeans, and I remember my parents' photos as well using the widely flared jeans. And whenever I tell them about it, they just tell me, hey, don't blame me, blame fashion. And I concur with them. Fashion can take you to some crazy places, man. Now, in case you don't know these type of jeans, wide flare jeans had the tightness of skinny pants by the waist, but were wider by the boot. And I was never a fan, as you can tell, but hey, it does give your butt gas some space to exit from below. Now, in the 70s, I had to talk about Black Sabbath, since they basically created the sound that would forge the path for metal with their synthesis of early rock and roll and hard-edged blues. But that is all important and all, but what about their pants? What about their jeans? Let's check it out. And yes, well, tight at the top and wide at the bottom. But you know, slowly in the 70s to the 80s, skinny jeans started to become popular again and started to get real tight. I can notice your bulge in your pants tight. With glam rock, rockabilly, and punk, which especially like red tartan and drainpipe jeans. So, let's look at some examples of the evolution of pants for these genres. In glam rock, we have David Bowie, who was a fashion icon, but he was a fan of crazy tight pants and crazy designs. May he rest in peace, by the way. And Kiss, from this subgenre, also used tight pants, but they were leather, which was also used by the heavy metal god himself, Rob Halford from Judas Priest, using some tight-ass leather pants that I had to say, no homo, he rocked them out with grace. Now in punk, we have drainpipe jeans and tartan used by bands like The Clash and Sex Pistols, and sometimes they would have holes in their jeans as well. If I was alive in this era, I think I would have gone the punk route and used some drainpipe jeans, to be honest, as well. So, from this era, fashion got incredibly extravagant, with most rockers and glam metal bands trying to look like women, which, like the Seinfeld episode, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was the norm for hair metal bands, and they started using spandex to annihilate their bulge with tightness. I don't know why they love to do that, but hey, most of us do it nowadays with skinny jeans anyways. Now, For some examples of this, we have Poison, which made me remember Rock of Love. You guys remember that show? I hope I didn't, but I do. It's ingrained in my brain. But anyways, we also have Motley Crue, Twisted Sister, and Rat, to name a few. And as for the skin-tight acid-wash jeans used in heavy metal bands, we have Iron Maiden, which they also use spandex, but got away from it, thankfully. Anthrax, Metallica, and Motorhead, just to name a few. And from there, in the 90s, tight jeans were popular among pop stars, but they went out of fashion as baggy carpenter jeans entered the scene. Oh yes, they did. And first of all, in grunge music, the style was characterized by durable and timeless thrift store clothing, often worn in a loose, androgynous manner to de-emphasize the silhouette, hence the jeans being a little bit more baggy, but still not new metal baggy. We'll get to that in a minute. But they were more loose than previous tight jeans and were almost always ripped jeans like Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, etc. from that era. Now, for the real bagginess, that real space in your legs, we have new metal. And I got to live this era, by the way, and I still remember the new metal 90s fashion, which as a kid was a lot of fun. But looking back, man, do I look ridiculous with my Jinko jeans that were baggy as hell. And this is mainly due to hip hop becoming more popular and influencing the pants being worn in that type of metal, that subgenre. And for examples of this, we have Korn, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, and Deftones, just to name a few. So if you were from my time, you probably had them Jinkos as well, with them huge shoes, you know, the Osiris, the DC shoes, etc. But anyways, that scene stayed like that until 2004, when skinny jeans started replacing baggy gangster jeans. As you can see, fashion moves in cycles, and they're still here, those cycles. Which brings me to the emo scene that exploded thanks to MySpace. Now, in those days, I was part of that scene. I accept it, I don't know. I mean, as a kid, you just go from trend to trend, trying to be cool, but you know, don't judge me. Most of us did it. Maybe one of you two are the exception. I don't care, but I did it, man. I was emo. I had my hair straight, covering my eye. I had my skinny jeans. They were a girl size, actually, they were girl jeans, and I wore them. I wore them with pride, since I really liked that genre in that time. But anyways, in those days, a lot of my friends would also buy girl black skinny jeans, so they would have the tightest jeans possible to simulate their emo musical heroes. But also, black long shorts were used as well. It wasn't just the norm for skinny jeans, but they were used a lot. Now, some examples of these bands are Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, The Academy Is, From First to Last, Skrillex, etc. Now, funny enough, skinny pants started as a fashion for the rich. I didn't know this, but I found it out through investigation. But in time, all classes started wearing them, and there are even skinny pants for both sexes that are being worn in metal and rock nowadays. It seems baggy jeans, bootcut jeans, or widely flared jeans might come back someday, since fashion does move in cycles, as we all know. But I honestly hope they don't come back. Maybe baggy jeans, those were kind of fun. I actually prefer skinny jeans that are being worn today with the occasional tear and rip by the knee that some modern metal bands and a lot of rock bands use today as well. So it will be interesting to see how jeans and pants in general start to evolve in the rock and modern metal world with each passing year. Who knows? We might see some indie rock band sporting the spandex, or some new metal gent band wearing some wide flared jeans with pride. You never know. Fashion is a crazy thing, and like we said, it tends to go in cycles. But anyways, we hope you enjoyed this episode in which we went through the history of jeans and pants that were used in rock and roll and metal, from the fashionable to the questionable. We tried to cover most of it, and if there is a style we missed, let us know in the comment section, and also let us know which style you remember with fondness. More shame, the better. We want you guys to let it all out. And personally, I will always remember those new metal days and emo days with love, shame, and nostalgia. But you know, like I said, you were a kid, you just want to be popular, so who cares? And also, if you did enjoy this episode, please give us a like, subscribe to our channel for more musical content, and we will see you all in the next episode. Stay safe, everyone.